Ever wondered what lies beyond the veil of the ordinary? At Paranormal M, we dive headfirst into the extraordinary. Subscribe and tap the notification bell to become part of our growing family of truth seekers and explore the depths of the supernatural. Story number 1. Cat-like guardian spirit of abandoned mansion. Less than a day ago, an extraordinary event unfolded in my life that left me with an indelible impression that it surpassed the boundaries of the natural world. While I understand that skeptics might attempt to rationalize this story with mundane explanations, the inexplicable nature of the experience has convinced me otherwise. Allow me to recount the captivating tale that transpired when I, accompanied by a group of dear friends, embarked on a thrilling expedition to explore an abandoned mansion with an intriguing history. This awe-inspiring architectural marvel, nestled amidst a dense forest, had once been the residence of the renowned World War II general, only to be forsaken in the 1950s following its demise. The time was approximately 6 p.m. when we arrived at the imposing estate. The mansion loomed before us, a testament to its former grandeur, enveloped by overgrown foliage and towering grass that obscured the path, leading to its majestic gates. Evidently, this place had been devoid of visitors for an extended period, lending an air of mystery to our adventure. Filled with a mix of trepidation and excitement, we crossed the threshold and began our exploratory journey through this relic of the past. As we traversed the threshold from the small hall into the first grand room, a faint meowing sound resonated from the room that we had just vacated. To our astonishment, a small feline emerged, a graceful creature with a pristine white coat, adorned with elegant black spots. The cat appeared youthful, perhaps no more than 3 or 4 years old, exuding an aura of perfect health in the process. Being an ardent volunteer for homeless cats, my trained eye discerned the signs of well-being that radiated from this delightful creature. Unable to resist, I extended my hand, and to my delight, the cat approached without a trace of fear. Its fur, a testament to the immaculate grooming, felt velvety soft beneath my fingertips. It was as if this enigmatic feline embodied the epitome of the domesticated companion, unmarred by the hardships often endured by its kind. Such peculiar circumstances began to arouse my curiosity, signaling the presence of an inexplicable force at play. Throughout our exploration of this labyrinth mansion, the mysterious cat persisted in shadowing our every move. Remarkably, it displayed neither fear nor excessive curiosity towards humans, allowing us to each stroke its sleek fur with unprecedented tranquility. Its behavior resembled that of a contented house cat, intimately familiar with human presence and unacquainted with adversity, a demeanor incongruous with the desolation of an abandoned residence left untouched for generations. The mere existence of this otherworldly feline within those hollowed halls defied logical explanation. When our odyssey through the mansion reached its conclusion, we reluctantly departed, casting glances backward in search of our newfound feline companion. Alas, a peculiar turn of events ensued. In a matter of moments, the cat vanished into thin air, as if it were an ephemeral apparition. Merely seconds prior, it had been weaving between our legs, emitting plaintive meows and seemed to echo through the deserted rooms. Yet, as we stepped into the night, the cat inexplicably vanished, leaving behind no trace of its presence. Intrigued, I peered back into the entrance room, desperately calling out for our ethereal companion. But all of this fell on deaf ears. It had inexplicably disappeared, defying all rational explanations. A sense of enigma and wonder pervaded the air as we stood there, pondering the otherworldly nature of our encounter. Nevertheless, what truly propelled my thoughts into the realm of the supernatural was an astonishing revelation that we made in the basement, an area that the cat had strangely refused to accompany us to. Amidst the shadows and remnants of a forgotten era, we stumbled upon the remains of another feline, long since departed from this mortal coil. The sight of this decaying testament to a former life merged with the enigmatic presence of the cat that had vanished before our very eyes, intertwining the realms of the living and the dead in an inexplicable dance. To this day, the events that unfolded within the confines of that abandoned mansion continue to perplex my mind. The inexplicable arrival and sudden disappearance of such a feline companion, coupled with the discovery of its deceased counterpart, have left an indelible mark upon my psyche. Though some may dismiss it as mere coincidence or trickery of the mind, I am resolute in my disbelief. So I delve into the realm where the boundaries between this world and the ethereal intertwine. And it serves as a poignant reminder that there are mysteries yet to be unraveled, forces at play beyond the scope of human comprehension, a testament to the enduring enigma of the supernatural. Story number 2. Strange Occurrence. I can't help but share the unsettling story that has recently transpired between my friend and me. It all began when she handed me a book titled The Haunting of the Hill House. Little did I know that the seemingly innocent exchange would lead to a series of inexplicable events, making me question the very fabric of reality. As I delved into the haunting tale within the book's pages, I found myself captivated by the character of Theodora. Strangely enough, I discovered that something eerily similar to my own experiences occurred to her. In the story, her clothes became tainted with blood, only to miraculously return to their pristine state later on. The parallel between fiction and reality began to blur, creating an unnerving atmosphere around us. One day after finishing the book, I carefully placed it back on my friend's chair. It was a subtle act, but one that would soon send shivers down our spines. Remarkably, she mentioned that she briefly noticed my gesture and was suddenly inspired to seek out an old top to wear while sleeping. Without any conscious thought, she gravitated toward the top that had long resided in her wardrobe, the very same one with a conspicuous blood stain. To our utter disbelief, as she retrieved the top from its resting place, a sense of astonishment washed over us. The blood stain, which had marred its fabric for ages, had vanished without a trace. It was as if the stain had been forcefully erased, leaving the garment looking as pristine and flawless as the day that it was first acquired. Naturally, we both found this inexplicable turn of events incredibly perplexing. We racked our brains for any logical explanation, yet none could be found. My friend insisted that she would never fabricate such a peculiar story, and I too was certain of her sincerity. The top had undeniably been stained, and now it stood before us, free from any blemish. The bizarre nature of this occurrence left us with an unsettling sense of foreboding. As I continued to mull over this enigma, I couldn't help but immerse myself in the book's contents once again, attempting to unravel the mysteries that lay within its pages. The narrative had affected me so deeply that I felt compelled to revisit it. Despite its haunting nature, it was during the second reading that the revelation of the renewed top struck me as uncannily synchronistic. How peculiar it was that immediately after I returned to the book, triggering my friend's strange impulse, the events mirrored those recounted in the very story that we were both engrossed in. The convergence of reality and fiction, the overlap of our lives with the haunting tale, seemed far too coincidental to be dismissed. It was as if the book's essence had seeped into our existence, blurring the boundaries of what we considered possible. The air around us became thick with an unexplainable energy, leaving us both profoundly unsettled. Days turned into nights, and our discussions revolved incessantly around this perplexing incident. We analyzed every minute detail, searching for any hidden meaning or rational explanation. Yet the answers eluded us. slipping through our fingers like elusive apparitions. The more we delved into the mystery, the more our trepidation grew, until we found ourselves entangled in a web of uncertainty. Now, as I reflect upon this inexplicable chain of events, I can't help but feel a lingering sense of disquiet. The book, which once seemed harmless, has become a harbinger of the unknown, a catalyst for the uncanny occurrences that have unfolded in our lives. Its pages continue to hold secrets that we may never comprehend fully. In the end, the line between reality and fiction blurs into an ethereal haze, leaving us with a disconcerting realization that the realms of the supernatural can intertwine with our mundane existences in ways we never thought possible. As my friend and I grapple with the enigma that has befallen us, we remain haunted by the inexplicable connection between a blood-stained top and the chilling tale that still echoes in our minds. Story number 3. My unexplained ghost story. It was a chilly winter evening, and I found myself nestled comfortably in my bed, cocooned beneath a warm blanket. The ambiance of the room was slightly nippy, causing a slight shiver to run down my spine. I couldn't help but wonder if it was merely the frigid air seeping through the cracks of my bedroom window, or something more eerie that sent a chill down my back. As I sat there engrossed in the world of TikTok, a sudden noise erupted from within my closet, startling me. The sound resembled that of a cat's gentle purr, yet my door was securely shut, making it impossible for any feline intruder to have made its way inside. Bewildered and slightly apprehensive, I couldn't ignore the strange occurrence unfolding within the confines of my room. Curiosity and trepidation overwhelmed me, and I cautiously shifted my gaze towards the source of the noise. To my astonishment, out of the corner of my eye, I witnessed my unusually stationary chair gradually swiveling to face me, as if guided by an unseen force. A jolt of fear surged through my veins, freezing me in place. My heart raced, pounding within my chest as I struggled to comprehend the inexplicable event that had unfolded before me. Every rational part of my being screamed for me to flee, to escape the confines of this haunting scenario. With trembling legs, I summoned every ounce of courage I could muster and propelled myself off the bed. Panic and adrenaline coursed through my veins, propelling me toward the sanctuary of the lower floors. Time seemed to elongate, stretching with what felt like an eternity as I sprinted downstairs. Each sound feeling like an agonizingly drawn-out hour. In reality, though, was merely a fleeting 10 seconds of sheer terror. My mind raced with the whirlwind of questions. What had caused my chair to turn? Was there an otherworldly presence lurking within the walls of my room? The spine-tingling sensation that accompanied the inexplicable events lingered, leaving me grappling with a mixture of fear and curiosity. As I reached the safety of the ground floor, I found myself overwhelmed with relief, grateful to have distanced myself from the unexplainable phenomenon that had momentarily consumed my world. With my heart still pounding, I took a moment to collect my thoughts. My mind was a swirling maelstrom of emotion, desperately seeking logical explanations for the inexplicable events that I had just experienced. Had it all been a figment of my imagination? A trick played on my tired mind? Or had I unwittingly stumbled upon a paranormal encounter? As I settled into the soothing embrace of reality, the initial terror began to subside. Yet the incident lingered in the back of my mind, an enigma that demanded further exploration. I couldn't dismiss it as a mere fluke or fleeting illusion. It had been real, at least to me, and I couldn't shake the desire to uncover the truth behind the chair's inexplicable movement. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, but the memory of that haunting night refused to fade away. I delved into extensive research, scouring the depths of the internet and dusty old books, hungry for any information that could shed light on what I had experienced. Countless hours were devoted to studying the paranormal, the supernatural, and the unexplained, hoping to find a rational explanation that would set my mind at ease. In my quest for answers, I stumbled upon tales of haunted houses, poltergeists, and restless spirits. Each story sent shivers down my spine, making me question the safety and sanctity of my own home. Sleepless nights turned into tireless endeavors as I sought solace in the knowledge of those who had encountered similar phenomena. Their first-hand accounts, both chilling and intriguing, served as a constant reminder that I was not alone in my pursuit of the unknown. As time passed, my fear transformed into an insatiable curiosity, a hunger to understand the inexplicable. Armed with knowledge and an unwavering determination, I ventured back into my bedroom, the very site of my initial encounter. The air was heavy with anticipation as I meticulously examined every nook and cranny, searching for clues that would unravel the mystery once and for all. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months, yet my quest yielded no definitive answers. The chair remained innocently stationary, refusing to betray the secrets hidden within the wooden frame. Doubt began to creep into my mind, questioning the validity of my own recollection. Perhaps it had been a momentary lapse of reason, a trick played by the tired recesses of my mind. As time marched forward, the incident gradually became a faded memory, tucked away in the recesses of my consciousness. Life resumed its normal rhythm, and the chair's inexplicable movement became a mere footnote in the grand tapestry of my existence. Yet, a part of me will always wonder, forever captivated by the possibility that there are unseen forces at play, lurking just beyond the veil of our understanding. And so I continue my journey, forever haunted by the enigma of that fateful night. It serves as a reminder of the vast mysteries that surround us, waiting to be unraveled. While the answers may elude me for now, I'm left with an unwavering curiosity, propelling me to seek further and explore the depths of the unknown, and to embrace the inexplicable with open arms. Story number 4. Is my mom going overboard? Ever since my dad passed away a few months ago, life has taken a rather strange turn. It started with my mom, who's been feeling his absence deeply, sending me these eerie videos captured by her security camera in one of the bedrooms of her house. According to her, these videos show undeniable signs of paranormal activity. She firmly believes that my dad and her parents are still present in the house, watching over her and keeping her company. Now, I want to believe her, I really do. The thought of my dad's spirit lingering in that house brings a strange comfort, but at the same time, I can't help but question the validity of these occurrences. It's almost as if they have taken over her mind entirely, occupying a significant portion of her headspace. I remember watching one of those videos, and there was this moment that sent chills down my spine. Amidst the indistinct sounds and flickering lights, I could distinctly hear a voice that sounded uncannily like my dad's. It was as if he was speaking directly to me through the confines of that recording. The experience left me feeling both amazed and perplexed, fueling my mom's belief even further. However, not all the videos carry such weighty evidence. Some of them are rather underwhelming, depicting mere orbs floating across the screen. Now, to me, they appear to be nothing more than specks of dust caught on the camera's lens, dancing aimlessly in the air. But my mom, she sees something entirely different. To her, those orbs represent the presence of otherworldly beings, a tangible connection to the realm beyond. To add to the intrigue, my uncle and her brother recently gifted her a device called a spirit finder. It's a contraption designed to detect and alert if users of the paranormal energies are nearby. According to my mom, the spirit finder's become her constant companion, but not in a good way. It seems to have developed a life of its own, going off at the most inconvenient times, robbing her of sleep and leaving her in a perpetual state of unease. The relentless beeping and flashing lights have turned her nights into restless episodes filled with both excitement and trepidation. All these bizarre happenings have not gone unnoticed by my brother and me. We are growing increasingly concerned for our mom's well-being. While we understand her longing for the presence of our departed loved ones, it's hard not to worry about the toll it's taking on her mental and emotional state. The constant preoccupation with the supernatural has overshadowed other aspects of her life, causing her to neglect her own needs and routines. We had countless discussions, debates, and even arguments about these experiences. We've attempted to approach the subject from a rational standpoint, suggesting alternative explanations and encouraging her to seek professional help or consultation. We've proposed that perhaps the videos are a result of technical glitches or natural phenomenon rather than actual paranormal occurrences. Maybe the voice she heard in one of those videos was a coincidental audio distortion, or her mind playing tricks on her amidst the grief. In addition, we've tried to introduce her to different perspectives and beliefs regarding life after death, exploring various spiritual philosophies, religious teachings, and even scientific theories that provide alternative explanations for the phenomenon she's experiencing. We've shared stories of people who found solace and healing through different methods such as meditation, therapy, or engaging in support groups for those dealing with loss. However, it's difficult to dissuade someone when they're firmly convinced of something. My mom's belief in the paranormal has become deeply ingrained, almost like a lifeline connecting her to my dad. It's as if questioning or challenging these experiences would be equivalent to severing that connection, and neither my brother nor I want to cause her any more pain or distress. As the days pass, we find ourselves caught between wanting to support our mom's emotional well-being and worrying about the toll of her obsession. It's a delicate balance, and we constantly weigh the pros and cons of indulging in her beliefs versus gently nudging her towards seeking professional guidance. At times, it feels like we're walking on a tightrope, trying to maintain a delicate equilibrium between respecting her experiences and attempting to bring her back to a more grounded reality. Story number 5. Coincidence or a little help from the unseen world? A few weeks ago, I found myself in a late-night solitude, engaged in various activities like watching TV and doing laundry. It was one of those moments when I had the house all to myself, and I reveled in the freedom to engage in mundane tasks while enjoying some quality time alone. As I sat comfortably on the couch, my eyes wandered to the artwork adorning the walls of the living room. There was one particular piece that caught my attention. Its placement had always seemed a bit off to me, and I pondered whether rearranging it would enhance the overall aesthetic and find better complements to the space. Contemplating the possibilities, I examined the artwork for a few minutes, envisioning its potential new location within the room. However, I didn't take immediate action, deciding to address it at a later time. Feeling the need for a brief break, I rose from the couch and made my way to the kitchen. It was during this interlude that a peculiar sound caught my attention, originating from the living room. Curiosity piqued, I peered through the kitchen doorway, surveying the room for any signs of disturbance. Yet, to my surprise, everything appeared ordinary and undisturbed. Without dwelling on the matter further, I continued with the tasks at hand, assuming the noise was merely a non-consequential occurrence. Once I had completed my kitchen duties, I returned to the familiar embrace of the couch. As I settled down, ready to resume my previous train of thought, my eyes were inexplicably drawn to the same piece of artwork that had held my attention earlier. However, this time, it wasn't where I had last seen it. Instead, it had seemingly detached itself from the wall, descended gracefully, and now rested atop the chair situated directly beneath its previous location. This unexpected turn of events both startled and intrigued me. Was this a mere coincidence? A trivial mishap that coincided with my intention of rearranging the artwork? Or was it something more? The suddenness of the artwork's descent left me contemplating the possibility that it was a sign, a subtle message from a realm beyond our own. It's important to note that the passing of my father a few months prior still lingered in my heart and mind. My mother, a firm believer in the interconnectedness of the spiritual and physical worlds, suggested that perhaps it was my father's way of communicating with me, offering his guidance from beyond the veil. She saw it as a gentle nudge, his attempt to assist me in my endeavors to rejuvenate the living space that we had once shared as a family. Story number 6. Was the horrific face I saw as a child a haunting? When I was around 9 years old, my family decided to move into a new house. Excitement filled the air as we anticipated the fresh beginning that awaited us. However, as with any move, there were certain challenges to overcome. One of the obstacles we faced was the lack of furniture in our new abode. In the midst of our waiting for our belongings to arrive, we resorted to using pump-up beds as temporary sleeping arrangements. The pump-up beds were peculiar contraptions that offered a sense of novelty to our nightly routines. My mother, my sister, and I huddled together on a single pump-up bed, forming a cozy yet cramped sleeping arrangement. Meanwhile, my dad made do with the couch that came with the house, finding solace in its familiarity amidst the new surroundings. Night after night, we gathered on our makeshift bed, eagerly awaiting slumber to whisk us away. As I nestled into the designated spot, with my mother positioned in the middle, fatigue gradually took over my senses. Slowly but surely, I succumbed to the beckoning embrace of sleep. Yet it was during these moments of vulnerability that something inexplicable occurred. I would abruptly awaken, finding myself in the depths of an eerie dream realm. As I pried open my drowsy eyes, I found myself surrounded by an abyss of impenetrable darkness. An unsettling shiver traversed my spine as I surveyed the monochromatic expanse that enveloped me. Attempting to make sense of this disconcerting scenario, I strained my vision, searching for any discernible features within the darkness. And then I saw it, a visage so ghastly and reminiscent of a wicked witch from tales of old. Its contorted face twisted into a grotesque mask, emitting a chilling laughter that echoed throughout the void. The malevolent eyes fixated upon me, as if peering into the very depths of my soul. Words, if they were spoken, were drowned out by the cacophony of maniacal laughter and incomprehensible mutterings. The sinister entity seemed to revel in its tormenting presence, relishing in the fear that it instilled within me. This recurring encounter plagued my nights, recurring at least 3 times a week, but only when I dared to sleep in the living room. The living room, where the pump-up beds temporarily called home, became a battleground between my youthful innocence and the unknown forces that sought to prey upon it. Though I couldn't discern the cause or purpose of these haunting episodes, I could not deny the profound impact that they had on my psyche. Time became a peculiar entity as I navigated through this disconcerting period. Days turned into weeks, and weeks transformed into months as our year-long tenure in that house continued. Each night I embarked on a voyage of trepidation, uncertain of what awaited me in the realm of slumber. Eventually, the day arrived when we bid farewell to the enigmatic dwelling. Our furniture had finally arrived, signifying a fresh start and an end to our nights spent on the pump-up beds. As we packed our belongings, I couldn't help but feel a sense of relief wash over me. The unnerving encounters that plagued my dreams seemed destined to remain within the walls of that house, fading into memories as we embarked on a new chapter of our lives. Looking back on that perplexing period from the vantage point of adulthood, I'm still left with unanswered questions. What was the nature of that haunting presence? Was it a figment of my overactive imagination? Or did it stem from something more sinister lurking within the confines of our new home? Although time has cast a veil of uncertainty over those childhood nightmares, they remain etched in my mind as a reminder of the mysteries that sometimes pervade our existence. And while I may never fully comprehend the origin or purpose of that witch-like apparition, it serves as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of the imagination. Story number 7. Do you believe that spirits can enter our dreams? Growing up, I had the rather peculiar experience of residing in a haunted house. Unlike my siblings and parents, my interactions with the otherworldly occupants were far less frequent. The presence within our home wasn't sinister or malevolent. Rather, it felt like a gathering of spirits, perhaps 2 or 3 who had taken up residence in our midst. My father often recounted witnessing figures and silhouettes gliding through the dimly lit hallways, their ethereal forms passing through the walls with an otherworldly grace. My mother, on the other hand, would catch glimpses of flickering lights that seemed to dance in harmony with the melodies that flowed from our stereo. Regrettably, the specific encounters my siblings had eluded my memory. But I do recall my sister sharing an eerie incident of someone darting into her room while the rest of us were absent from the house. As for my brother, he was tormented by night terrors involving these spirits, causing him great distress. In my case, I often caught sight of random figures, predominantly that of an elderly woman, assuming a caretaker's role. Curiously, whenever I approached her apparition, it would vanish into thin air, leaving me with the inexplicable feeling of emptiness. Furthermore, I would occasionally hear disembodied voices whispering to me, even when I was fully awake. The sensation was undeniably eerie, especially as I grew older and became more cognizant of the paranormal occurrences around me. Interestingly enough, these otherworldly experiences didn't solely confine themselves to the waking world. Frequently, my dreams became conduits for encounters with ghosts. In these dreamscapes, I found myself moving into new homes, perpetually plagued by the ever-lingering concern of residing in another haunting abode. Lo and behold, the spirits from my childhood home would resurface within these dreams, calling out to me in their familiar spectral voices. The dreams were laced with a palpable sense that was indeed them, the very same entities I had encountered before. They never posed any harm, they were merely present, appearing and vanishing at will, occasionally manipulating objects in their ethereal hands. It felt as if they were constantly watching, listening, and observing my every move. The mere concept of it all sent shivers down my spine, filling me with an unsettling trepidation. In some instances, my dreams would take on a different form altogether, serving as vivid flashbacks of the encounters I directly experienced in my childhood home. Curiously, these dreams seemed to provide glimpses from the spirit's perspective, presenting events through their eyes. The recurring nature of these dreams only served to exacerbate my anxiety, leaving me in a state of unease. Was there a deeper meaning behind these apparitions? Was something or someone attempting to communicate with me? Or was I simply grasping at straws, desperately attempting to make sense of the inexplicable? As these thoughts plagued my mind, a seed of doubt sprouted within me, leading me to question my own sanity. Did my mere spirit render me a mere vessel for imaginative fantasies? Would recounting these tales lead others to believe I had lost touch with reality? The fear of being labeled as crazy began to gnaw at my psyche, adding another layer of complexity to an already enigmatic series of events. So here I stand, pondering the mysteries that have intertwined with my existence since childhood. The haunted house of my youth serves as a constant reminder of the paranormal realms that exist parallel to our own. Whether these spirits are remnants of past lives, echoes of the departed, or something entirely beyond my comprehension, I may truly never know. Nonetheless, my journey continues, navigating the labyrinth corridors of the supernatural, forever seeking answers to the questions that haunt both my waking world and my restless dreams. My dog is seeing something. Let me tell you about this friend of mine who I haven't seen in ages. She's been going through a really tough time dealing with domestic violence and battling addiction, among other things. It's been quite a while since we last connected, but a few days ago, I finally had the chance to catch up with her. Unfortunately, she wasn't doing well at all. However, there's something else that's been bothering me even more since she visited: my dog's bizarre behavior in my room. During the daytime, my usually cheerful and relaxed pup appears visibly uncomfortable. He seems restless, constantly seeking a way out of my room. I've noticed him fixating on certain spots as if there's something there, even though I can't see a thing. He'll sit by my bedroom door, waiting anxiously for me to let him out. But it's at night when things take a turn for the worse. Poor little guy. He lies on his bed, trembling and panting heavily. Sometimes he'll shake and pant while staring into space and pace back and forth across the room. It breaks my heart to see him like this. In fact, it got so severe last night that I genuinely thought he might be on the verge of death. Desperate to ease his distress, I made an exception and opened my bedroom door, allowing him the choice to sleep elsewhere in the house. It's something I never usually do because my furry companion has always been extremely attached to me. Whenever he realizes I'm not around, he cries and howls until he's allowed back into my room. But surprisingly, that didn't happen last night. He slept peacefully in the living room without any issues. Trust me, that has never happened before. My dog is 6 years old now, and from the moment I brought him home, he's been by my side. He would sleep at the foot of my bed or snuggle up next to my leg, practically glued to me. Even if I'm just working on my laptop in my room, he'd often join me to chill or take a nap on the bed. But ever since my friend's visit, he developed this intense aversion to my room. I genuinely believe that something she brought with her has been causing her immense fear. What's strange, though, is that I'm typically sensitive to supernatural energies or entities. I lost both my parents, who passed away a few years apart, and I can sense their presence around me at all times. My dog seems to sense them too, but it never unsettles him like whatever's happening in my room. Could it be that whatever it is specifically disliking dogs, thus affecting him and not me? I'm at a loss for what to do. Should I try telling this to the unseen presence and make it leave? Maybe I should consider getting some sage and performing a cleansing ritual in my room. It pains me to see my loyal companion so terrified in what used to be his safe space. I just want him to feel secure and at ease once again. It's heartbreaking to witness him suffering like this. Story number 9. Few stories from my parents' home. I have cherished countless memories within the walls of our beloved home, a place that has witnessed the milestones and stories of my life. Nestled in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, this quaint bungalow was constructed in the 1950s, emanating a sense of history and charm that has withstood the test of time. For over 4 decades, this dwelling has been my sanctuary, sheltering my family and cradling the enigmatic presence that has occasionally piqued our curiosity. My earliest recollection of an inexplicable encounter dates back to my tender age of 3 or 4. During those innocent years when slumber weighed heavily upon my eyelids, the nocturnal symphony would occasionally be interrupted by a peculiar sound emanating from my closet. A veil of fear would enshroud me, urging me to seek refuge beneath the sheets. However, even in the safety of my makeshift cocoon, this enigmatic whisper persisted, beckoning me to venture beyond the confines of my sanctuary. Succumbing to curiosity, I tentatively poked my head out, hesitatingly whispering, "Hello?" To my astonishment, a disembodied voice, as if from the depths of the closet, responded with an eerie echo of, "Hello." Uncertain whether this was a mere figment of my imagination or a tangible encounter, the memory remains etched within the depths of my consciousness, a vivid recollection of the mysterious rendezvous. As the years unfolded and I reached the cusp of adolescence at the age of 16, life took a different turn, leading me to relocate to the basement, where my former bedroom underwent a metamorphosis into a functional office space. The rhythmic symphony of the night would still occasionally reach my ears, emanating from the office directly above my newfound haven. It was during one of those twilight moments that the enigmatic incident unfolded, forever seared into my mind. Sharing my sanctuary with a faithful canine companion, an American Eskimo dog who sought solace within the confines of my room. One fateful night, while enveloped in the embrace of sleep, I awoke to the sound of my mother's voice resonating through the hallway. Perplexed, I listened intently for her voice, laced with concern, seemed directly toward the canine companion by my side. It was as though she had encountered the presence of my loyal pet in the corridor above, questioning its unexpected presence. Hastening to rectify the situation, I peered beneath the bed covers only to discover my four-legged confidant nestled peacefully, unaware of the nocturnal disturbance transpiring above. Although initially dismissing this spectral encounter as a mere figment of my mother's imagination, I mustered the courage to recount the incident to her for the following day, hoping for a rational explanation. Yet, to my surprise, her conviction remained unwavering, as she adamantly insisted that her encounter with the otherworldly entity had indeed transpired. Intriguingly, it was through the lens of my father's experiences that a tapestry of inexplicable events began to unfurl within the tapestry of our home. During one instance, while my mother was away on vacation with her sister, leaving my father to occupy the silent halls, a peculiar cacophony erupted from the dining room, permeating the air with a haunting resonance. To his astonishment, my father distinctly heard my mother's voice, laced with urgency, beckoning him to join her. Obediently following the phantom call, he traversed the distance to the dining room, only to find an empty space devoid of her presence. The mysterious echoes reverberated through the chambers of his mind, leaving behind a lingering enigma. Further tales weaved by my father's retelling, adding further layers of intrigue to our household's inexplicable encounters. In the heart of the night, while nestled within the adjacent living room, engrossed in the flickering light of the television, an unsettling chorus erupted from the canine companions. Without warning, their fur bristled and guttural growls permeated the air, their gaze fixated on the dining room table. As if beholding an unseen entity, bewildered, my father's gaze followed their line of sight, searching for a tangible explanation, yet the vast expanse of the room revealed nothing out of the ordinary, leaving him perplexed and questioning the boundaries of our reality. The most haunting recollection shared by my father unfolded as he found solace upon the couch, basking in the comforting glow of the television. From the periphery of his vision, an elusive figure materialized, slipping through the threshold of the hallway bathroom. Sensing an unsettling presence, one of our loyal canine companions echoed his disquietude, growling in the face of the unseen intruder. Braving the unknown, my father embarked on a resolute journey toward the bathroom, only to be greeted by emptiness, the apparition vanishing without a trace. This ethereal encounter left an indelible mark upon his psyche, challenging the boundaries of rationality and leaving him pondering the existence of an unseen realm. As the custodian of these narratives, interwoven with the fabric of our lives, I find solace in their retelling, each whisper of the supernatural echoing across the chambers of my memory. Our cherished home, a testament to the passage of time and the resilience of the human existence, stands as a witness to these ethereal encounters. While the rational mind may seek logical explanations, an unspoken allure envelops this abode, an intangible presence that dances on the edges of reality. In the interplay of shadow and light, in the echoes of long-forgotten whispers, our home reveals itself as a conduit between the tangible and the ethereal, forever etching its enigmatic tales into the very fabric of our lives. Story number 10. I saw something strange as a kid. I must have been around 6 or 8 years old when this peculiar incident occurred. It's funny how some memories stick with you, even decades later. I was standing at the bus stop with my dear mother, patiently waiting for our ride to arrive. The bustling atmosphere of the place was evident, with people engrossed in conversations over their mobile phones, while a family friend engaged in a lively discussion with my mother. As a curious child, my gaze wandered toward the road and the passing cars. It was a mundane sight, nothing out of the ordinary, until my eyes caught a glimpse of something truly extraordinary. Out of nowhere, a bicycle zoomed past us at moderate speed. What made it peculiar, however, was the fact that there was no rider in the seat. The pedals were moving, propelling the bicycle forward as if guided by an invisible force. Naturally, this sight left me utterly astounded. My young mind couldn't fathom what I had just witnessed. I stood there, my mouth agape, fixated on the spectacle before me. Surprisingly, it seemed as though no one else was at the bus stop paying any mind to this supernatural occurrence. Their conversations continued uninterrupted, while my mother remained engrossed in her discussion, unaware of the incredible scene that had unfolded right in front of me. Unable to contain my amazement, I kept my silence, not daring to interrupt my mother's conversation. It wasn't until later that I mustered the courage to bring up this bizarre incident. I cautiously shared the details of the bicycle without the rider, hoping for a explanation from my mother. To my disappointment, she dismissed my account with skepticism, attributing it to a mere hallucination. According to her, my young imagination had concocted this fanciful tale, creating a vivid illusion that felt all too real. Yet deep down, I knew what I had seen was not a product of my imagination. I couldn't explain it logically, and it perplexed me to no end. At that age, my vision was perfectly fine, ruling out any possibility of an optical illusion. Moreover, it couldn't have been a dream, for my mother vividly recalls that day and often playfully jests about my reaction, describing me as having a malevolent demon. To this day, as the years have rolled by and I've grown into adulthood, that peculiar sight remains etched in my mind. It serves as a reminder of the mysteries that surround us, the inexplicable phenomena that defy our understanding. Though countless explanations and theories might attempt to rationalize what I had witnessed, I've come to accept that some occurrences defy conventional wisdom. Perhaps there are forces at play in this universe that elude our comprehension, leaving us with nothing more than unanswered questions and unexplained memories. Story number 11. I heard someone ask if I was okay. Let me tell you about the extraordinary experience I had while staying at this peculiar house. It was an abode unlike any other, filled with inexplicable occurrences that left me in awe and uncertainty. Whenever I found myself alone within the confines of that dwelling, I would frequently hear mysterious crashing sounds reverberating through the air, leaving me with an eerie feeling that I was not the sole occupant of the premises. Witnesses had even reported seeing objects seemingly propped up against the wall, inexplicably tumbling forward and crashing onto the ground, defying the laws of gravity. Such occurrences were utterly mind-boggling, defying rational explanation. Now allow me to share a particular incident that happened during my stay in this enigmatic abode. At one point, I found myself involved in a harrowing motorcycle accident, albeit as a passenger. The impact was severe, leaving me with extensive injuries and rendering me incapable of walking properly for several months. My body was wrapped up like a mummy, concealing the open wounds that bore witness to the ordeal that I had endured. It was a challenging time filled with pain and discomfort. The first night I returned home from the hospital, fatigued and exhausted, I lay in my bed, teetering on the precipice of slumber. It was in this vulnerable state that I heard a voice whose timbre and tone escape me to this day. The voice, ethereal and disembodied, asked a simple yet profound question: "Are you okay?" In response, I audibly answered, assuring the unseen presence that I was indeed all right. Astonishingly, my boyfriend, who was present beside me at that moment, seemed perplexed by my response and questioned why I said yes out loud. Perplexed by his confusion, I turned to him and said, "Didn't you ask if I was okay?" Much to my surprise, he denied asking me any such question. It was then that a wave of realization washed over me, and I began to contemplate the true nature of this ethereal encounter. Initially, I had attributed the incident to the presence of benevolent guardian angels, watching over me in my time of need. However, as time passed and my curiosity grew, I couldn't help but wonder about the enigmatic entity I had conversed with that fateful night. Who or what had reached out to me in that mysterious house? Was it a lingering spirit trapped between realms seeking solace or connection? Or was it an echo from the past, a whisper of history embedded within the very walls of that dwelling? These questions haunted my thoughts, fueling a sense of intrigue and desire for understanding. In the weeks that followed, I continued my recuperation within the confines of that enigmatic house. I found myself delving deeper into the realm of the unknown. Late that night, when the world outside fell silent, I embarked on a journey of exploration, armed with a journal, a pen, and an unwavering curiosity. I meticulously researched the history of the house, unearthing tales of its previous inhabitants, stories of joy and sorrow that had unfolded within those very walls. As I immersed myself in the tales of the past, I discovered a thread that connected the paranormal occurrences and the voice that had reached out to me. It appeared that a tragedy had unfolded within the house, a somber event that had left an indelible mark. Could it be that the unexplained crashes, the sensations of not being alone, and the voice in the night were all echoes of that tragic event, remnants of souls trapped within the ethereal realm? Armed with this newfound knowledge, I delved even deeper, seeking out local experts in the paranormal, eager to uncover the truth hidden within the walls of that house. Mediums, psychics, and investigators joined me on this captivating journey, their expertise bringing forth new layers of understanding. Through seances and meticulously recorded sessions of electronic voice phenomena, we sought to establish a connection with the otherworldly forces that lingered within those walls. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months as we delved deeper into the mysteries concealed within that house. The paranormal activity intensified, with an unexplained phenomena occurring more frequently and with more great intensity. Doors creaked open of their own accord, cold gusts of air swept through empty rooms, and shadows danced along the walls, defying all logical explanation. During one particularly riveting investigation, as we huddled together in a dimly lit room, a medium made contact with a spirit connected to the house. The air grew thick with anticipation as the medium channeled the ethereal presence, relaying its messages and emotions to us. Through tearful whispers, the spirit revealed its name and shared the tragic tale of its life, forever intertwined with the house that had become my temporary home. Overwhelmed by the depth of emotion and the weight of the revelations, I found solace in the knowledge that my experience within that house was part of something greater. It was a connection to a world beyond our own, a glimpse into the ethereal tapestry that intertwines with our reality. While the mysteries of that house may never fully unravel, I walked away from that extraordinary experience with a profound sense of wonder and a deep appreciation for the enigmatic forces that exist beyond our comprehension. Story number 12. Yellow-Eyed Sleep Demon. It was approximately a year ago when this unsettling incident occurred, and as someone who believes in the paranormal and acknowledges the existence of the spiritual realm, I always approach strange occurrences with a rational mindset. However, this particular event defied any logical explanation that I could conceive. At the time, my partner and I were peacefully asleep in our bed. Suddenly, I jolted awake, overcome by an inexplicable sense of unease. Sitting upright in bed, I noticed a black shadow lurking at the foot of the bed, hovering at the height of a child. It paced back and forth with its arms extended in front, its elbows bent, and the silhouette of its hands appeared disproportionately large compared to its small, childlike body. The ends of its fingers were pointed and sharp, resembling menacing claws. Beside me, my boyfriend remained sound asleep, emitting groans and twitches as if caught in the grip of a haunting nightmare. Paralyzed with fear, I mustered the strength to whisper my partner's name. Regrettably, he didn't awake, but to my astonishment, the creature abruptly ceased its pacing. It turned to face me, freezing in its tracks, seemingly startled by my presence. Glowing intensely with bright yellow eyes, the shadow gradually faded away, dissolving into nothingness with its eyes lingering as the final remnants. Desperate to rouse my slumbering partner, I nudged him forcefully. As he awakened, gratitude filled his voice, grateful that I'd interrupted his distressing nightmare. He described a vivid dream in which a shadowy creature with razor-sharp claws perched on his chest, rendering him immobile and trapped. Curious, I inquired whether the creature in his dream possessed bright yellow eyes. Astonishingly, he confirmed my suspicion, prompting me to disclose my own encounter with the mysterious entity. Fortunately, the creature's not reappeared since that fateful night. I attempted to gather more information about its appearance through a thorough internet search, but found no useful results. If I had been the sole witness, I might have dismissed the encounter as sleep paralysis, considering my previous struggles. However, the fact that both my partner and I witnessed the same spectral being, coupled with the fact that I was fully awake during the encounter, solidified my belief that this was undeniably a paranormal encounter, devoid of any rational explanation. Story number 13, I was pushed from behind. In our quaint, antiquated abode, my family and I resided, blissfully unaware of the eerie secrets that lay dormant within its ancient walls. As fate would have it, on that particular evening I found myself alone, believing that solitude was my only companion. Little did I know, however, that an unseen presence lurked in the shadows, ready to unveil itself in a chilling revelation. The culinary delights beckoned me to the kitchen, and I, succumbing to the persistent pangs of hunger, ventured forth to satiate my appetite. Amidst the tantalizing aromas and the comforting ambiance of the room, a sudden disturbance ruptured the tranquility that enveloped a home. A cacophonous crash echoed from the depths of the basement, sending shivers down my spine. Knowing my father's affinity for woodworking and his collection of tools, I instinctively suspected that he might have been the source of the disturbance. Hastening toward the basement door, my voice trembled as I called out for him, hoping to seek reassurance and unravel the enigma that had unfolded. The basement, an abyss of darkness, greeted me with an ominous silence. Its lack of illumination seemed peculiar, for my father, ever meticulous, was known to meticulously organize his workshop, ensuring that every nook and cranny was bathed in light. An inexplicable chill crawled up my spine as a rush of frigid air brushed past me, causing my breath to hitch and goosebumps to materialize on my flesh. With trepidation, I cautiously descended the stairs, my hand clinging to the cold, unforgiving handrail. The palpable tension in the air intensified, as if an invisible force conspired against me. And then it happened. The malevolent entity, or whatever it may be, manifested its presence with a vengeance. A surge of energy jolted through my arm, and though an unseen entity aimed to push me, to exert its influence upon my being, the weighty pressure bore down on my limb, testing the limits of my physical and mental fortitude. Simultaneously, the ethereal gusts of icy wind enveloped my senses, relentless in their pursuit of instilling fear within my trembling frame. In that harrowing moment, the battle of wills waged, the invisible force testing the boundaries of my resilience. The fierce clash between corporeal and ethereal forces engulfed me, leaving me shaken to the core. As quickly as the chilling cold had engulfed me, it withdrew, as if sated by its brief foray into the realm of the living. Story number 14. Toddler's son connect to my late grandmother. The heart-wrenching tale of my paternal grandmother's passing still resonates deeply within me, as if unfolded a mere 9 months ago, just a solitary month prior to the conception of my precious daughter. Affectionately referred to as Grandma S., she and I shared an unbreakable bond, and it was not uncommon for my son and me to embark on frequent visits to her humble abode. A bitter truth overshadowed these encounters, for Grandma S. battled with relentless clutches of dementia, rendering her mind fragile and often unable to recognize me. Astonishingly, though, she clung tightly to the recollection of my son's name, a testament to the inexplicable power of a grandmother's love. At the remarkable age of 89, Grandma S. defied her years by gracefully descending the ground, engaging in playful interactions with my son, otherwise known as playing with her son. With an illustrious career as a teacher, children occupied a paramount position in her life, yet fate had woven a unique tapestry, bringing only my son and me in close proximity to visit frequently. Being a woman amidst a sea of sons, Grandma S. harbored a particular fondness for the company of us girls. As destiny would have it, I now find myself 8 months pregnant, eagerly anticipating the arrival of a little girl who will soon grace our lives with her radiance. In the wake of her departure, my parents took the significant step of relocating to her cherished home. The ensuing weekend marked a milestone, for it had been countless years since my youth that I had spent a night within the confines of that house. Now brimming with memories and a sense of nostalgia, As bedtime approached, my son in his endearing innocence embraced the ritual of spinning whimsical tales, often revolving around our daily escapades or dreams for tomorrow. On this particular night, however, his tender voice weaved a narrative that evoked profound emotions within me. He uttered, "Grandma S and L were walking down the road, their eyes filled with wonder as they gazed upon the majestic boats adrift in the distance." Intriguingly, my husband and I had been contemplating two names for our impending arrival, namely R and L. Those are strange names, considering they are letters. The mere mention of Grandma S strolling alongside someone named L ignited an ethereal spark deep within my soul. It was as if from beyond the mortal realm my beloved grandmother had bestowed her ethereal blessings upon our choices, approving the path that we were destined to traverse. Such is the beauty of life, in all its intricate complexities and serendipitous encounters. The tapestry of existence, threads of love and remembrance intertwine, transcending the boundaries of time and space. With every passing day, I hold on to the memory of Grandma S, treasuring her spirit within my heart. As my daughter's arrival draws near, I find solace in the thought that her gentle presence shall forever be intertwined with our family's legacy, an everlasting testament to the enduring power of love and the undeniable bond that connect generations past, present, and future. Story number 15. Grandmother-in-law claimed to be a psychic medium. Weird things happened when she passed. Living together with my now husband in a cozy, albeit small apartment was an adventure in itself. We had settled into a routine, navigating the joys and challenges of sharing our lives under one roof. However, our tranquil existence took an unexpected turn when his beloved grandmother, a self-proclaimed psychic medium known for her spirit guide readings, sadly passed away. Grandma had battled Parkinson's disease and dementia during her final days, which had taken a toll on her overall well-being. Regrettably, I never had the opportunity to experience one of her readings, given the state of her mental faculties. Plus, being naturally skeptical, I tended to rely on tangible evidence and personal experiences. Nevertheless, I held an open mind, acknowledging the possibility of unexplainable occurrences. It wasn't uncommon for my husband to engage in sleepwalking and sleep-talking. Over time, I'd become adept at discerning when he was merely in the midst of a slumber-induced activity. So when the clock struck 2 a.m. one fateful night, I was abruptly shaken awake by his urgent nudges, accompanied by a panicked whisper, babe, look, wake up." Startled and bleary-eyed, I struggled to comprehend his sudden outburst. Despite my wariness, curiosity got the better of me, and I reluctantly inquired about the cause of his distress. In response, he excitedly pointed toward the darkest corner of our bedroom and explained, "Look at the white woman." Then, without missing a beat, he turned over and peacefully slipped back into the realm of dreams, leaving me feeling both bewildered and thoroughly spooked. This eerie incident repeated itself 3 more times, always in the dead of night. Each time, my timidity prevented me from mustering the courage to investigate the source of my husband's late-night revelations. Consequently, my go-to response to his sleep-induced proclamations became a resolute and fearful, "Nope, no one's there, no thank you." And to this day, my husband has no recollection of these nocturnal apparitions. However, we now have a young son who, on occasion, directs his innocent gaze towards shadowy corners of the room and bursts into gleeful laughter. When questioned about his amusement, my husband casually speculates that our son is merely interacting with the white woman, the same enigmatic entity that he had encountered during his sleepwalking episodes. I can't help but associate this ethereal presence with the lingering spirit or energy of my husband's departed grandmother, whom we affectionately refer to as Grandma. Though my husband embraces these inexplicable encounters with a certain level of nonchalance, attributing them to the supernatural, I find myself less enthusiastic about the prospect of unannounced guests from beyond the veil. However, I am reminded that life is filled with countless mysteries, some of which are more unsettling than others. And so, in the midst of our shared existence, we navigate the uncharted waters of the tangible and intangible, finding solace in the bond that ties our family together. Story number 16. Strange Incident in the Anatomy Lab. For the past couple of months, I've been grappling with a certain incident that occurred during my tenure as a second-year medical student and an anatomy tutor for the first-year students. It's been playing on my mind incessantly, and I feel a pressing need to put my thoughts into words in order to find some semblance of closure. At my School of Medicine, the tutoring system functions in a way that designates certain days when I'm on call to assist students in learning anatomical structures and their clinical correlations. This typically involves providing last-minute guidance and tips for the practical exams, and it's usually a relaxed and enjoyable experience with groups of students seeking assistance. However, there was one particular day that deviated from this norm, forever etching its peculiarities in my memory. It all started with an email from a student I had tutored numerous times before. He was a genuinely nice guy, and he expressed a strong desire to conduct a comprehensive run-through of all the structures that would be tested on their upcoming final exam. Being committed to my role as a tutor, I readily agreed to help him, and we scheduled for a session for 9 a.m. in the morning. Now let me paint a picture of our anatomy lab. It's a fairly large space that houses around 25 cadavers, each stored in separate subdivisions to ensure their preservation, and these tanks are equipped with built-in tables that can be raised or lowered depending on the need for dissection or study purposes. With this in mind, my colleague and I arrived at the lab on the appointed day, ready to embark on our tutoring session. Before entering the lab, my colleague paused for a moment of reflection, offering a brief prayer as a personal ritual. Afterward, we proceeded into the lab, only to be confronted by a sight that was highly irregular and frankly forbidden. One of the cadavers lay outside its designated tank, devoid of any faculty or student presence nearby. This was a grave transgression, one that demanded disciplinary action and was considered profoundly disrespectful. Such an occurrence was unheard of in our lab, so without hesitation we rushed to the cadaver's side and carefully lowered it back into the tank, seeking to rectify this grave breach of protocol. However, as soon as the cadaver was immersed, an overpowering stench of decomposition assaulted our senses. It was a nauseating smell that was completely unexpected considering the usually well-ventilated labs and the presence of fixatives in the tank. Never heard of the word fixatives before. I'm assuming they mean preservatives in the tank, which are meant to impede decomposition. Both my colleague and I were taken aback by this unexpected turn of events, and he even gagged in response to the putrid odor. The entire situation seemed surreal, and I struggled to make sense of it. How could a strong smell of decomposition permeate the lab despite our efforts to preserve the cadavers? The fixatives should have been provided some measure of protection against this very occurrence. Despite the lingering scent of decay, we managed to gather ourselves and decided to move on to the tank across from the one that had been opened. Hoping for a reprieve from the unpleasant odor, we cautiously opened the tank, only to be confronted with the sight that plagued my thoughts relentlessly ever since. The cadaver within the tank was not lying down as expected, but instead it was sitting upright in the middle of the table, fully immersed in the fixative solution. The sheer peculiarity of this image left me dumbfounded, and my colleague appeared visibly panicked in the face of such uncanniness. In an attempt to restore order and normalcy, we endeavored to lay the cadaver back down in a proper position. However, the hips had become rigid and unyielding, making the task considerably more challenging. After much effort, we finally managed to lay the cadaver flat once again, but the disconcerting experience had already cast a somber atmosphere upon the lab. Something felt profoundly amiss, and an aura of unease pervaded the air. In the days that followed, my colleague and I returned to the lab without uttering a word about the bewildering incident. We resumed our tutoring duties, attempting to carry on as if nothing out of the ordinary had transpired. Yet deep within me, the enigma persisted, relentlessly tugging at the edges of my consciousness. I found myself unable to provide a plausible explanation for what had occurred, aside from the possibility that some of our fellow students had shown a remarkable level of carelessness with the cadavers. An explanation that, while somewhat logical, failed to provide a satisfactory resolution to the sequence of bizarre events. These moments, strung together in a series of bewildering encounters, continue to occupy my thoughts, replaying themselves over and over in my mind. Please forgive me if I've rambled on, as the lateness of the hour has perhaps contributed to the somewhat disjointed nature of my narrative. Nonetheless, the experience remains etched in my memory, and I'm left grappling with a multitude of unanswered questions, seeking solace in the hope that time may eventually reveal the truth behind that perplexing day in the anatomy lab.